Welcome to Insurance Claim Radio, where leading hail loss consumer advocate Phil Coutu and his team of experts teach you how to avoid the pitfalls of hail damage claims and how to use his team of experts to get what you truly deserve under your insurance policy. Now, here's your host of Insurance Claim Radio, Phil Coutu.
Hi, we're live with Insurance Claims Radio, insuranceclaimsradio.com. We're a consumer advocacy program for adjusters, public adjusters, the general nation at large, roofing contracts. There will be a lot of information. We are today in Parker, Colorado, I guess on the border of Aurora, and we're live in the studio, and we are going to speak. We're going to start off with speaking about cosmetic damage, deductibles, and hail damage or wind damage to air conditioners, and what you can do about it. So let's open up with cosmetic damage. Let's introduce the host. We got Stevie Solomon, former manufacturer shingle rep, on the mic. We also have Mike Neely, Pro Roof Solutions
on
Inc.
the mic.
On the mic. And Mike specializes in residential and commercial roofing. I'm Phil Coutu, your host. I'm a public adjuster, roof inspector, and have a prominent roofing company on the Front Range. It's rooftop-roofing.com. You can reach us at 303-997-4247. So let's talk about cosmetic damage.
What is it?
The definition of cosmetic damage, it varies. This is been in a lot of policies of recent. We've seen cosmetic damage exclusions.
Are you guys talking about makeup or something? What's going on here?
Exactly. That's what people think it is. But cosmetic damage, the one that's really been problematic is cosmetic damage to shingles and cosmetic damage to metal roofing and cosmetic damage to stucco. So there's sometimes a cosmetic roofing exclusion. And what they're trying to say is they write it that they don't owe for pitting. That'd be loss of aggregate marring. They're trying to write it that unless it's a functional type of damage, and you can look up the definition of functional as it relates to a military term. It's very interesting how the insurance industry adapted it. And they're trying to say, well, we'll owe for your roof if it breaks the shingle. The fact is, though, that you did suffer direct physical damage when you have a quarter or dime-sized bunch of aggregate and asphalt knocked out, even though it didn't fracture the back of the shingle. So if you have that exclusion in your policy, they're saying, well, we're not going to pay for that kind of damage. Really problematic. The other one is metal or dents to metal roof. They're saying, well, that's cosmetic. It doesn't affect the life of the product. So cosmetic damage, so you come, you get 2-inch hail on your metal roof, it's all smashed up, just like your car gets dent, and a cosmetic exclusion generally states in different terms, because insurance companies, this is a newer thing for roofing, are writing these in different ways, is saying we don't owe for that unless it actually breaks the metal or creates structural damage. So it's really problematic. And I'll tell you how problematic it is. I just had a church in Colorado Springs. The insurance adjuster and insurance company paid zero. So we have cosmetic exclusion. 2 years later, we got them north of $1.5 million. That's a fact. Challenging the cosmetic exclusion, the wording. They had 2 public adjusters before me and several roofers, and they said, hey, you just don't have the coverage. I disagreed with that opinion. I said, hire me. I'm going to take a crack at the way this is worded, and we got them $1.5 million. Did it take 2 years? Yes. Are these battles? Yes. Did it cost us $100,000 in expenses to win that? Yes. But we got them their $1.5 million. That church is getting a brand new roof in the very near future.
So the damages were there. It got hit by hail. So nothing changed from the time you took the case on physically.
Nothing changed, except for we were able to settle a claim at $1.5 million.
And that becomes because you're an expert, right? We're experts at reading policy and understanding that exclusion.
Right. You're not going to get too many roofers with the level of experience you're going to see on this panel, or even public adjusters. Even though they had that cosmetic exclusion, we challenged it. So we wanted to challenge the wording of it because it contradicted another part of the policy. They are getting written better and better. The best thing is to make sure you don't have a cosmetic exclusion in your policy. So if you have a metal roof or a shingle roof, you want to read your policy and you want to say, hey, I want a policy without a cosmetic exclusion. So there isn't that fight there. But we're talking about policies. And one of the big things about policies is constantly they're being rewritten, the wording. And Oh, we're at a break. So, Daniel, we're on our breaks today. We'll be right back. You're live with insuranceclaimsradio.com.
You're listening to Insurance Claim Radio. Be sure to stay tuned. We'll be right back after these important messages.
Do you have a commercial property hail claim, troubled claim, underpaid claim, missed damages, bad faith, possible legal action? Rooftop Restoration is a leading hail loss consumer advocate for poorly handled insurance claims. We specialize in hail damage, large commercial claims, and provide the total claims package risk-free. We pay and cover all expert costs. Engineers, attorneys, roof inspectors, adjusters, we get you what you deserve under your insurance policy. Finance large deductibles, finance all the experts, exceptional experience and a stellar reputation with zero out-of-pocket costs. Risk-free. Rooftop Restoration, 303-997-4247, 303-997-4247. Check us out at rooftop-restoration.com.
Welcome back to Insurance Claim Radio. Now, here's Phil Coutu and his team.
Hi, we're back with Insurance Claims Radio. What the heck are you doing back there, Dave? You're live with Insurance Claims Radio. We're your consumer advocate show. We were talking about cosmetic damage exclusions and how important it is to try to get away from that. Make sure it's not in your policy because it's a real battle if you have hail damage to metal roofing and shingle roofing that isn't of the extreme nature.
And also about tile, too. I know we have a lot of tile roofs here in Colorado, and I feel a lot of homeowners are not educated with their policy when it comes to tile roof, because I know there is some sort of proration period that goes on with certain tiles or certain policies. So maybe you can elaborate on that.
Yeah, and I think Mike just had one with a tile. I'm not sure the final outcome. How did you make out with that one tile, one in Aurora? Are you doing the repair? Did it end up getting totaled?
Yeah, so we had a tile there that the manufacturer they stopped making it. It was a West tile, and so they were based out of Littleton. And so the insurance company came in and says, well, they don't make them anymore, but you can take tiles from the bottom of it. There was over 200 tiles that were damaged, so it was crazy. So we had to find some tiles, and the insurance company wanted to pay to have a manufacturer make that tile again. So a company out of Wisconsin, $10,000 is what they wanted to fix and repair this tile. We were able to find some that looked really, really close to it. Different manufacturer. The customer agreed that it looked great and awesome. It was $1.35 a tile versus $35 a tile. Mm-hmm. A lot of big difference there, right? So so we were able to repair it, save the customer a lot of money, and the insurance company ultimately, it was one of those situations where they just didn't want to, they didn't want to replace the whole roof. And in this situation, if there would have been 25% of the roof that needed to be replaced, which would have been like 14 squares, we were like 13.2 squares, almost there, then they would have paid for the whole roof.
Wow. So it's super important to have an expert who can look at that. Those are important things. Look at your cosmetic damage exclusion. I would try not to have one. The second thing we're going to jump to is the ordinance and the law. This is super important. Mike, have you had have you had claims that have exceeded the ordinance and law coverage?
Yeah, absolutely. So ordinance and law is also called deductibles, right?
No, code upgrade.
Or code upgrade.
We'll get to deductibles next.
Okay, all right, I'm sorry. So your code upgrade or ordinance of law, all right, is required by your county, all right? And so I had a situation in Boulder where a gentleman had a condo, and the total amount of damages was $10,000, but his code upgrade would not allow it to pay it. They just didn't pay the code upgrade or ordinance of law on it. So he would have to come out of pocket of about $3,000 just to be able to get that paid, and an ordinance of law is adopted by your county or wherever you're at.
Yeah. So ordinance and law, it's important. Sometimes they're capped at 10, 5, 50,000 or a percentage. And where it comes into importance is like if you have a commercial job or a residential home, maybe your commercial building's older, 40 plus years, 50 plus years, and it had plank decking. Well, the shingle manufacturer now states either a 1/4 inch or 1/8 inch for the cracks between the decking. And if you have a small amount of ordinance law, or you don't have ordinance law, which I've been running into a lot lately, it's really problematic because you might be paying out of the pocket on a residential project $5,000 to $15,000 out of your pocket because you don't have the coverage, or you could be paying hundreds of thousands on a commercial project. Comes into reference to windows, anything that your building authority has upgraded. Oh, a perfect example lot now. Excuse me. It's R20.5 in a lot of jurisdictions, and even R30 on a few in the Denver metro area for above deck insulation, if you don't meet the R47 or proper below deck installations. So, hey Chip, we got a late arrival on the show here, and so it's really problematic because if you got to do above deck insulation, now you're raising your insulation anywhere from about an inch every R5 or 6 for ISO. So if you're got to meet R20, you might be raising it up 3.3, 3.4 inches, and then a recovery board, and then now that's going to raise all your AC frame units or your skylight frames or curbs, referred to in the roofing industry, and that can be hundreds of thousands of dollars out of pocket on a commercial property or tens of thousands on a residential that you're going to pay out of pocket. You get a small discount by forgoing your ordinance and law. I tell everybody out there, make sure you don't have a cosmetic exclusion, make sure you don't have ordinance and law exclusion, and then we're going to introduce Chip. Chip's here from Chip's Roofing. And Chip's going to jump into the next one we're going to tackle is the deductible. How you want to check your deductible. People are used to $500,000 deductibles. You're seeing percentage deductibles in Colorado on a lot of policies now. So you want to, when you're comparing coverages and what you're paying, you want to calculate your percentage deductible. If you have a $100,000 claim, people think, oh, well, I got a 3% deductible, I'm going to pay $3,000. It goes to the value of your house. So if your house is an $800,000 house and you have 3%, the first $24,000 you're paying out of pocket, which sometimes isn't worthwhile for your roofing claim. Right, guys?
We just want to make sure we clarify that Chip is not part of Chuck and the Truck from Minnesota that we've been talking about. Hey, Chip, why don't you give everybody say hello and give them your phone number?
How you doing? This is Chip, Chip's Roofing, 720-938-7663 is the office line.
Right, and so, Chip, we were talking about ordinance and law, and then we got into cosmetic damage, and we're just talking about the policy, how the coverage is being eroded, and people don't understand. And have you had any instances yourself where you're doing a job and then you had to break the news to somebody, hey, you got to pay for the redecking, you didn't have ordinance law coverage, or you have a high deductible, or you got a cosmetic exclusion on your metal roofing, and it's a real battle?
Yeah, I just tell everybody that do not let your insurance company save you money when you're buying your policy. Don't let your agent save you any money. Just every time get full replacement cost, every time get ordinance and law coverage as high as you can get the coverage. I mean, when they're saving you $40 a year, you're losing thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars every time you do a claim.
And that's the other thing you look at proportionately. These are really important coverages, these few we're talking about. So cosmetic exclusion, you don't want to have that in your policy. Ordinance and law coverage, you want to get it as high as you can. And your deductible, you want to have as low as you can. You're not saving a lot for forgoing that coverage, but on some properties, some buildings, it can cost you tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars. And it's not fun. What kind of coverage do you really have if you think you're saving maybe on your homeowner's policy $200-300 a year and your metal roof isn't covered for cosmetic damage? You have a high deductible, 3 or 5%. Let's take average. Yeah, or you have an ACV policy. And so you got a deductible, cosmetic coverage, and ordinance and law. Those are very important. They come into play a lot in Colorado, especially with all the new green energy codes coming into play. It can really, really affect you.
Well, they're going to start actually having to enforce the energy codes now, too. That's state law that the cities now have to enforce the energy code.
Right. So now if you have enforcement, what happens is people, what happens is the public, when you're paying out of pocket and then they come up and tell you, oh, we have this new law and you've got to put a green space on your commercial building, and the public finds out it's costing them on $1 million roof another $300,000, they're not too happy. Very hard to enforce. They go to their legislators, but they're starting to enforce it more and more. You need to have that ordinance and law coverage. If you have a commercial property, condo, warehouse, apartment block, you want to check with your contractor, but you want to have that ordinance and law coverage. You might have to have energy efficient windows. California is talking about bringing in only solar powered shingles. It'll probably be postponed. Boulder had several years coming where you couldn't have cedar shake anymore. So there's an expense. You have to go to different products, and you could be paying out of pocket a lot of money for saving, a few $100 a year, and then you're cutting a check 30, 40 grand out of pocket.
I'm lucky I'm on a commercial building right now where the building owner actually had $1 million in code upgrades because all his buildings are like.
And how much is his code upgrade?
He's running into hundreds of thousands of dollars in code.
So that's a great point, Chip. A lot of commercial policies, to save a little bit of money on the front end, they're foregoing the ordinance and law. They're capping it at 10 or 15 or 30 grand, right? Or a small percentage of the cost of the building. And you're coming up short. I have one personally right now where we had to do above deck insulation. And it's going to cost $325,000 on these 2 commercial buildings. But and he had a decent coverage. We got $250,000, so we're going to come up $75,000 short. And they were saving on this commercial policy about 40 grand a year. They're saving $400. So if you even take 10 years, 4,000, but they're out 75,000, and we're kind of lucky because I might be able to bring it down about 20. But what happens if that was 700,000, which happens on these commercial buildings?
Phil, I had a friend of mine that's a roofing contractor out in LA, and he has a shingle that they're requiring by the city where it also eats the pollution as it goes. They have a pollution problem there, right? And so, but the insurance company says, hey, we're not covering that anymore, right? And we don't do that, right? We're not covering pollution. And so he's having to pay for out of pocket in order to have that type of shingle that will do that.
All right, well, let's talk about LA after this break. You're live with insuranceclaimsradio.com. I'm your host, Phil Coutu. You can reach me at rooftoproofing.com, 303-997-4247.
You're listening to Insurance Claim Radio. Be sure to stay tuned. We'll be right back after these important messages.
Do you have a commercial property hail claim, troubled claim, underpaid claim, missed damages, bad faith, possible legal action? Rooftop Restoration is a leading hail loss consumer advocate for poorly handled insurance claims. We specialize in hail damage, large commercial claims, and provide the total claims package risk-free. We pay and cover all expert costs. Engineers, attorneys, roof inspectors, adjusters, we get you what you deserve under your insurance policy. Finance large deductibles, finance all the experts, exceptional experience and a stellar reputation with zero out-of-pocket costs. Risk-free. Rooftop Restoration, 303-997-4247, 303-997-4247. Check us out at rooftoprestoration.com.
Welcome back to Insurance Claim Radio. Now, here's Phil Coutu and his team.
Hi, we're back live with Insurance Claims Radio. I'm your host, Phil Coutu, rooftoproofing.com, 303-997-4247. We've got experts on the panel right now. Chip from Chip's Roofing, Mike Neely from Pro Roof Solutions. These guys are experts at residential and commercial insurance claims as well as commercial contracts. I also have rooftoproofing.com, and I'm a general contractor that specializes in all kinds of problematic insurance claims. Mike was just talking about LA and some of the codes that are coming through. I want to say, I don't know if you guys know this, but we at Rooftop, we've actually donated a bunch of labor and materials to the LA mission, and we'll be out there the first week of October doing some charity work for the LA mission that helps the homeless because they have a serious homeless problem there. We're talking about the deductibles. One of the big things is people were shocked in the last hurricanes in Florida. I'm also a licensed Florida contractor and general contractor, because they have a lot of 5 and 10% deductibles. And some of those houses close to the water are several $1 million plus, and they all of a sudden are going, what do you mean I have a $200,000 deductible? And which is almost like not having coverage, because a lot of claims aren't $200,000 in a hurricane. They're having these $40,000, $80,000 claims, and they're paying out of pocket. And those deductibles are starting to leach in all over the country. Colorado, we're seeing them more around 2 and 3%. I have seen a few 5s. They're selling to condo associations. That's problematic for your condo association as well out there. If you have a 5% deductible, you're going to get assessed by your condo association. You have maybe a $6 million roofing contract. You got 300 units. They're going to break that up and assess you. Say the property's worth $10 million. You're going to have $500,000 in deductibles that have to be assessed over, say, 300 units. You can carry coverage personally in your condo to cover that, and you should look into that. And you should also be making sure your condo association is carrying. Make sure there's no cosmetic damage exclusion. Make sure you have a lot of ordinance and law, and try to get away from your percentage deductible or have it as low as possible, because you will be paying out of pocket for saving pennies on the dollar up front.
And also be careful that your property manager is going to pick a contractor that is paying him. Interview your contractor before this, and be careful of your property manager.
Hey, in your policy of insurance, they don't have to tell you that they're going to change from $1,000 to 3%. All right, if you go into Texas and Kansas and Oklahoma and whatever, they already have these policies, but it's just coming into Colorado pretty big time. And in your policy of insurance, they can raise it and not even know it, and all of a sudden you've got a hail claim and having to pay $3,500.
And since we got what do we got here, Dave? About 7 minutes left. Let's talk about the nefarious side. Chip just made a great point. Be careful who your property management is choosing for your roofer. And we're going to let Chip, I have extensive experience on this, being a commercial contractor and handling these claims, also being a public adjuster. It's very problematic. Chip, let's get into some of the situations you faced.
I think the first question you should ask your property manager, is he a golfer? Because he spends a whole lot of time golfing with the roofing company and collecting, beer and trips and all kinds of stuff. And you have a fiduciary responsibility to the people who live there. If you're using a hack because he plays golf, you're going to spend an awful lot of money repairing a new roof.
Well, the big thing is, guys, this is business. The business can be very shady at times, and there are all kinds of kickbacks flying. You want to make sure you're just choosing someone that isn't getting a kickback. Give a chance that contractor to compete fairly, squarely, win it on his merits. That's why we have some fantastic. One thing on our panels, we got expert contractors. Any of these guys are legitimate. They've been around for decades.
And honest.
And they're honest. Now, they wouldn't be on this panel. We all do. We're all friendly competitors. We're actually all in competition with each other in some areas of our business. But we're here because we know who the good guys are. That's why we created this show, is to bring advocacy to the consumer, inform them. And you don't know how many times I've had $1 million deals, some that go sideways because we find out. I had one in Florida. I won the lawsuit for tortious interference because a contractor, basically I had it under contract for 4 months. We're working the insurance, $3.2 million. Advanced construction out of Florida around 2007-8. I think we filed. They flipped my whole contract. Turned out they were kicking the board back hundreds of thousands of dollars. So hard to prove. It was a mess. The contractor, I got a judgment for about $350 from the contractor, and I assumed 70% of the contract that was left, because the contractor actually flipped my contract, started work. And that's how it goes. You can check it out. It's Lago Grande 7 in Hialeah, Florida. I'm still pissed today. Baby. I only settled it, believe it or not, a year ago. We're talking 10 years of litigation. That's how you know you got a pit bull as a PA, and me. I stuck in there for 10 years out of principle to win that suit.
Just remember that, after you spend, your contractor's there to fight for you. And in Colorado, you got contractor of choice rights. And as an HOA board, you are the boss of the property manager. So you get to pick. The property manager should not be picking your contractor unless it's somebody cutting your lawn or something.
Right, and check your contracts you sign with your
6%.
management companies. They put fees in there, and they put sometimes they have the right to choose. I got to check. I don't know if the statutes overrule that. Chip might know, being on the
We just
consumer
had
board.
one that was 6% of the total claim of $2.3 million. Right,
so that's just an excessive fee. I mean, who's letting the property management write that fee in that high? That's just because, you know, often every 7, 8, 10 years you're getting whacked with hail in Colorado. You're giving your property management company a 6%. You should be giving them 0, maybe a 0.5% fee or some hourly fees. I mean, they're already paid to do that. So if you should be taking that 6% fee and hiring a reputable PA, like someone like me. And if you get that, call me. I'll get to the bottom of that. And there's a way that I can bust that contract. I can't always, but I am. Been in this business 34 years now. Often we can break some of those management contracts on that fee or get them reduced because I am surrounded by attorneys, and I do consult and advise attorneys on a lot of property damage.
Have your attorneys read your property management contracts before you sign it.
And also, maybe people read them yourself.
Oh, yeah, that might work too.
And then it really works
Nobody
great.
does that anymore.
Because they can guide and direct you and show you the right way to do it. That's it, right?
Right, so all these things are important notes. We got Chip from Chip's Roofing on the panel today. We got Mike Neely from Pro Roof Solutions. My name is Phil Coutu. I'm a national public adjuster. We're running out of time, Mike, so next show we'll be talking about AC units and when an insurance company tells you to comb them. I'm a national public adjuster as well as a contractor nationwide that specializes in large loss commercial. You can check us out at rooftoproofing.com, insuranceclaimsradio.com, and you can contact us at 303-997-4247. That's 303-997-4247.
Thank you for listening to Insurance Claim Radio. For more information on how to maximize your hail damage insurance claim or to contact Phil and his team, call 303-997-4247. And be sure to tune in next week for more Insurance Claim Radio.
Do you have a commercial property hail claim, troubled claim, underpaid claim, missed damages, bad faith, possible legal action? Rooftop Restoration is a leading hail loss consumer advocate for poorly handled insurance claims. We specialize in hail damage, large commercial claims, and provide the total claims package risk-free. We pay and cover all expert costs. Engineers, attorneys, roof inspectors, adjusters, we get you what you deserve under your insurance policy. Finance large deductibles, finance all the experts, exceptional experience, and a stellar reputation with zero out-of-pocket costs. Risk-free. Rooftop Restoration. 303-997-4247. 303-997-4247. Check us out at rooftoprestoration.com.